My call for barrier-free reading is not a political activity, but rather a cultural one. Saturday, January 20, 2024, Reiwa 6. Barrier-free reading and the publishing industry. Akutagawa Prize-winning work changes awareness. Interest in barrier-free reading surged following the Akutagawa Prize win by author Ichikawa Sa, who is physically disabled due to a congenital incurable disease. In 2019, the Barrier-Free Reading Act came into effect, calling for the development of a reading environment for people with disabilities and the spread of e-books. But how far have publishers progressed in this area? We explored the current situation and challenges. Gospel. E-books were a gospel technology for me. This is what Ichikawa reflected on during an online event organized by the Japan Pen Club last November. Ichikawa uses an electric wheelchair and finds it difficult to carry heavy books. I hated paper books. In last summer's Akutagawa Prize-winning novel, Hunchback, Ichikawa wrote these words. From the perspective of the protagonist, who is a reflection of Ichikawa himself, he denounced the privileged nature of a reading culture centered on paper books, sparking a major debate. Natsuo Kirino, author and president of Pen Club, who spoke with Ichikawa at the event, read the novel and commented, "I realized that we writers were ignorant and arrogant. I think this will lead to an increase in e-books." Ichikawa appealed, "I want publishers and authors to take the initiative and act proactively." Choices. Following the enactment of the Barrier-Free Reading Act, Shogakukan established the Accessible Books Promotion Office in 2021, specializing in improving the environment. One of the results of this effort was the publication of No One Can Brand Us Unqualified Kim Won-young, translated by Igoroshi Moki, the following year. This book, written by a Korean author who uses a wheelchair due to osteogenesis imperfecta, discusses the importance of human rights. It was released simultaneously in 7 formats, including print, audiobook, e-book, and braille, to be accessible to those with hearing and visual impairments. After Ichikawa received the award, the department renamed itself the Business Office, and further promoted the audiobook release of publications and in-house awareness-raising activities. According to Masashi Kimura, head of the Business Office, the publishing industry has been slow to create an environment for people with disabilities due to the difficulty of linking this to profits. I think Ichikawa's voice has given many people in the publishing industry a renewed awareness of the difficulties faced by people with disabilities. If there are options, people should read and consider the preconceived notion that it's not a viable business. Steadily, I realized that the voices of people with disabilities can change society, says Jun Tokahoshi, CEO of Seikatsu Shoin, a publisher of books on welfare and disabilities. Access to reading has been an issue for over 20 years. It's strange to see a trend that suggests this was only realized with the Akutagawa Prize, but it's good to see the industry's attitude starting to change. Since its founding in 2006, the company has included a voucher for digitized text data in the colophon of every book. This data is useful for producing braille and audio versions, and its provision is also encouraged by the Reading Barrier-Free Act. Readers with disabilities often request the data at the same time as the paper version, but that would be ideal, but it takes time to process. It's difficult for a small publishing company like ours, the company confided. The Japan Publishing Infrastructure Center works with related organizations that manage the bibliographic information of approximately 2,700 publishers, and has set up a contact point to disseminate information on barrier-free reading. Sanai Ochiai, a publisher in charge, explains, as the publishing industry shrinks, the reality is that many companies don't have the resources to address barrier-free access. However, Ochiai said Ichikawa's appeal has changed the industry's perception that publishing is something that should be done on paper. We want to steadily advance our efforts over time, so that the surge in interest does not become a passing fad, he said. Akira Takita, Megumi Ogawa, and Sho Hirakawa, Kyodo News reporters, Europe is enacting legislation and imposing penalties. In Europe, where efforts to promote accessibility to reading materials are progressing, the 2019 European Accessibility Act mandates various requirements for e-books and requires each country to implement domestic laws with penalties. In response, Sao Chikawa expressed concern at a Japan PEN Club event, saying, "I find legislation embarrassing, and I don't think that top-down enforcement through national laws will have a very positive impact on culture. My appeal for accessibility to reading materials is purely a cultural activity, not a political one," she said. Sanae Ochiayi of the Japan Publishing Infrastructure Center pointed out, if the government takes the lead and makes it mandatory to submit ebook data, it could lead to a stifle of expression. It's important for us in the publishing industry to take the initiative, she stressed.